darkness, my old friend. Come to speak with you again. Welcome back, everybody. It is bright and early on a Sunday morning. Hope everybody is doing well. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back with a match reaction. We're gonna dive. We're gonna dive into it. But I've said many times on this channel, right, that I can stomach a loss. Like I can take a loss if the players try, if the performance was good. I can handle that. But I've said many times what I cannot handle, what I refuse to abide is a shit performance. And that against Brentford was an absolute shit performance. Literally any way you slice it, any way you want to look at it, it was shit. Because we lost 3-1 to Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium, handing Keith Andrews a very valuable, surprising, but life-saving, potentially 3 points at home. And we just limp out of there with our tails between our legs, man. I don't understand how we can look so good against Arsenal first match of the season, how we can look so good against Chelsea, and then we turn around the following week and do that. Like, it's just embarrassing. I got dog hair in my nose again. But we're here to react to the performance, if you can call it a performance. Honestly, I mean, it was interesting. I think the most telling thing about this for me is my reaction yesterday. And you can chat with Justin if he shows up again. Talk to Bill if you guys ever get a chance to meet Bill, his brother Brad, who's a very good footballer, by the way. Talk to any of these cats, and they'll tell you, like, even as I'm watching it, like, I'm criticizing and I'm getting a bit expressive, but at the same time, it was pretty apathetic. It was just kind of like this just numb acceptance of just like, well, here we go again, same shit, different day. That's basically where I'm at now. I'm just apathetic at this point. This club is literally killing my interest and my joy in the club. Like, I don't even want to watch the games right now. But I've got my thoughts, as we always have on a match reaction. You guys know we go through 3 thoughts. I wanted to know your thoughts, though. I'm not really going to give 2 shits about Amorim's thoughts because, let's face it, why? So like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check those memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the content we put out on the channel, from scouting reports to what ifs. I've got another scouting report special popping up soon, and it has got a couple players that you all, the members, have recommended. So I will make sure I'll try to look back up and give you a shout out if I can. I can't remember who mentioned what in what video, so I'll do my best. But also go check out the United vs. Everybody store. Tons of new designs in there every day. But we are going to start, as always, with some news because, we just want to get the good stuff. I would start in a positive and then we'll go downhill. But let me see who's getting involved in the chat as well. Box in the house. Big up, Box. Hope your weekend is not going too terribly. At least, you get the weekend. You get the shit out of the way bright and early on a Saturday. It gives you time to maybe salvage some sort of something from the weekend, right? At least it wasn't like you're building up all weekend and then they kill you on like final match day of Sunday or something. So a big up, Box. Good to see you again. Bexley says, I think they'll keep Amorim until November, possible. Could get a lot worse, so they may have to act. Well, remember, we've only got a Sunderland match, and then we're gone for international break again, and then it's Liverpool. And then if we do sack Amorim before he's been here for a year, I think there is a bit of an extra fee to play. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was like 11, 12 million. So maybe they're just waiting. I don't know. We're going to talk about that, though. But big up, Bexy. Good to see you again, my friend. Box says, regardless of the manager, not a single player plays to a consistent level of quality or puts in the sufficient endeavor. Yeah, the players definitely have a part to play. They just did not look up for it at all yesterday. They just didn't. There was zero fight. There was zero resilience. There was zero intensity. Like everything we've been saying for the last like 3 or 4 years, it's still persisting. Even the new players yesterday, the new signings, did not convince me yesterday. I've got thoughts on that, and we're going to talk about that. But guys, make sure to get your thoughts. And I did put a poll in the chat as well. Will Amorim survive the end of the international break? Will we see him on the touchline against Liverpool? You guys let me know your thoughts in the poll as well. Bexy says the wingbacks do zero. I think we don't have wingbacks. We have players who play wingback, but we don't have wingbacks, and that's a big issue. The question is, though, I mean, you could argue that on paper the closest thing we have to a wingback is Diogo Dalot, but even then he's so bad. He's absolutely bad, dude. I can't handle watching Dalot anywhere. So let's get caught up on some news, and then we'll get the thoughts in. So make sure to get your thoughts prepared on that one as well. But starting with a little boost. So we talked a lot in the preview, if you guys remember, about youngsters. Not only did we kind of give an update and a check-in with all of our youth players and how they're doing out on loan. We went through the whole list and we kind of said what they're up to. But we also chatted about, the young midfielder that we reportedly have agreed to sign from the Brazilian league, you guys, Cristiano Rosco. Apparently when he turns 18, he will travel to sign. So we talked about that. But reportedly we're not done yet, because rumor has it we've agreed to a deal for 16-year-old Derby County goalkeeper Charlie Hardy. Now, supposedly he signed a scholarship with us. I watched a handful of videos of this kid. The kind of videos, not like Brazil Scout videos, and no offense, Brazil Scout, but what I mean is they're not just the highlights. These are like you can tell the footage is grainy and whatnot. But I've watched. I mean, the kid is good. He can pick a pass. He's really, really comfortable, really good on the ball. I mean, and I'm talking like Beckham level accuracy for a youngster when it comes to just picking out runners and attackers. He could put it on a dime or a sixpence, depending on where you live. And I've seen numerous times when you watch some of Derby's youngsters play that he's actually really high up the pitch. When they kick off, the ball actually drops to him. He's actually like lined up next to a center back and receives the initial pass. You can see here, this was straight back from a kickoff. And you can see here, Hardy is down here on the ball. He was down here. The ball went to him. That's where they lined up when he kicks off. They trust him to basically do that deep lying playmaker role. They prefer him doing that over his teammates. He comes off his line to close down angles. He's excellent reflexes. He saved a lot of penalties, which is really good for a kid. Really good composure. I worry a little bit about his recklessness on the ball. Or his recklessness. There are times when he will literally carry this ball almost to midfield on his own. This was after he had beat a couple of players with the ball at his feet to bring this ball up here. I'm not saying it's like Fabian Barthez going on walkabout, but that to me is going to cause a lot of hearts and throats moments. But yeah, the kid is supposedly signed a scholarship. We will see what happens there. But Charlie Hardy, fun name to say. Good little English. I mean, I like that we're looking at keepers. It just doesn't really matter at this point. If we get a keeper in the academy, we know we're never going to play them. We don't even play the keepers that we sign. So what does it matter at this point? But you guys let me know what you think about this young guy here. Big up, Gary. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's weekend's not too ruined by the shit show that we watched yesterday. You know what I really hate about these early kickoffs is getting up early for that shit, man. Rob, big up, Rob. Yes, hit that like button for me, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Johnny Hill back in the house. Good to see you again. What do you think next manager is? Thinks it'll be Iraola. Well, stay tuned, because I did put out another poll today because you guys have a chance to change your minds. Remember, a couple weeks back, I did ask, how do you guys feel about doing an Amorim replacement stream? Now today I asked, because I've got like 7 or 8 options for replacements. Do you want one big stream where we go through all of them, or do you want those broken down into individual streams? Go vote in the poll on there. But then it comes down to like like interim, like not everyone can be gotten mid-season, even if it's our top choice. We went for Amorim. We paid extra to get him. We paid extra to sack Ten Hag. Doing that would be difficult, especially because anybody who is better than Amorim, who we might want, again, hard to know, like without them being here for a year, like would they leave their clubs mid-season? Amorim did. So, and who would want to? Amorim didn't want to at first. We gave him basically an ultimatum. So it's interesting stuff. Now, if you go the interim route, and I put a poll out as well, who would you might want to have as an interim? That's a different story. If you can't get your top choice mid-season, maybe wait till the summer. But I have a lot of options. I haven't picked one yet that I like most of all, but we'll see. If you guys have thoughts, let me know. Bexy says Wharton was so composed. Yeah, Wharton is probably my top choice right now for next signings, personally. If he could just stay fit, that would be amazing. So Richard Hawkins, welcome back. Says, well, I'm going to the Sunderland game on Saturday, and if we don't win, Amorim will hear my voice. So I still don't know why we lend Vitek to Bristol City. Yeah, we love Vitek on this channel. We've been speaking about him for a year. We've kept up with him when he was on loan at VW Linz as well, and he's doing really well. We just touched upon him in the match preview when we went over what everybody's doing. So always betting. Yeah, everybody's going all over the place, man, when it comes to the bettings and stuff. Gary's, there's an NFL game in Dublin, huh? Interesting. Never seen so many Americans in person. That's funny. No, they're loud. You're probably going to see a lot of jerseys. We love jerseys in America, man. I know in the UK it's not as big a deal, maybe just because it's so it's just so everyday for people in the UK when it comes to just their club. For us, it's a big deal. So we love us some jerseys. So Manu, Johnny says whoever the next manager is has to be using Lamens. I mean, yeah, the Lamens thing pisses me off to no end. I posted yesterday. There's nobody in the world who can convince me that we wouldn't have at least got a point out of that match yesterday if Lamens had been starting, because Bindier is absolute dog shit, man. He is absolute dog shit. Composed View, big up. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Um, let's see. Yeah, Gary, there we do go a little bit nuts when we they and people are like, I remember I've interacted with some United fans who like will kind of poke fun at me for just having a lot of shirts. I have a lot of shirts. You guys have seen me wear a lot, and because again, it's not a big deal, but it's just that's the way we do it. I mean, kit makers, they don't spend all that money because nobody wears them, and I guarantee you if you went and looked up like the most sold sizes, it's probably like men's medium large, maybe XL or something. Like, people buy them, people love them, we love them in America. It is what it is. I'll never buy one from the United store because they're freaking insane, but it's a little bit ridiculous. I don't know if I don't think Euro did anything. I think honestly, Amram went into that thinking they rely on set pieces, they rely on long throw-ins in the box. I just want to have some height in there, some physicality, some experience. I don't know, but that's the best thing I can think of. Obviously, when you've got to change your center back later on in the match, it doesn't really look good. So um, let's see. Bexy, I've given up on trying to predict who's going to start and stuff on the weekend, man. I've just completely given up. It's so bad. Big up, Danny. Good to see you again, my friend. You just missed us talking about this 16-year-old keeper that we were supposedly assigned a scholarship with us, Charlie Hardy. So there's also been some stadium news this week, specifically regarding new stadium plans. So remember all the mock-ups and the concept art that were released like 5 months ago or so. Remember when all that with the guy, forget his name now, Lord something, did that mock-up look like a big circus tent, right? And I mean, to me, it was just the very cringy, I call it the cringy dumb trident tent thing. Well, according to The Athletic, the dumb trident tent thing may be scrapped altogether. Now, The Athletic reports that United have now commissioned new renderings to be created that don't include the dumb trident tent thing. Now, this reportedly has to do with what we spoke about a couple weeks back, dispute over the cost of the land that would, need to be bigger land now. The company Freightliner, they own the land. They were asking like 400 million pounds, which is huge, significant difference from the 50 million pounds that United were led to believe it would cost. So it seems like removing the dumb trident tent thing would save a significant amount of money, as it would require less land. So you knew that would cost a shit ton of money, and it looked like shit, and you thought it was a must-have. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But here's what the new stadium could look like without the dumb trident tent thing over the top of it. I think that looks low. This is literally just a rendering without the dumb trident tent thing. Like, the dumb trident tent thing is just taken off. So I think it looks a lot better personally. You may say it's boring. I just think it looks nice, but it is what it is. What are you guys saying in here? Danny says he needs to go simple. It's just getting harder and harder to defend him. This is how I felt with Ten Hag. Like, it's just like, it's untenable at this point. I don't see a way out of it. I don't see him doing anything because I haven't seen him doing anything. Not only is he not adapting, which is fine. You don't have to change your philosophy or your system or even your formation to adapt. You don't have to abandon your principles. It's just about adapting a little bit. You don't have to, like, he's just not learning, I think, from mistakes. His team selection to me is all wrong, like completely all wrong more often than not. So, yeah, Euro has been making a few mistakes, but I don't think they're anything that I wouldn't expect from a young defender to make personally. But some people are already given up. Composed View does not think Amorim is the guy. Bexy doesn't know if there's a remedy. There is no remedy. We've tried every single thing you could possibly think of. And I don't think it's as simple as just get the right manager or get the right player, because we've tried that as well. It's not about that. There's so much to it, but you have to try to get at least one of these decisions right and then try to build on that. So whether that's the manager or not, I couldn't tell you. If I had the remedy, I would go apply to be United manager, man. I have no clue, but Gary says it's much better, but a bit plain. I mean, really the tent stuff, that was just all aesthetics. It didn't really do anything personally, but I mean, it looks better, but it is what it is. Danny says Ten Hag got 75 points with no striker, only Weghorst, arguably a weaker squad. Yeah, Ten Hag did more. I think that Amorim is Amorim has now he's managed far less games than like Ollie, but I think Ollie only had two more losses total. So Amorim already is at a point, I think, if I remember the stat correctly, where he's just two losses shy of what Ollie had during his entire 2.5 years at United. So that to me is just all sorts of damning. Personally, let me get this off the screen so I can see you guys a little better. There we go. So if I can't remember now, but if that's true, then that's embarrassing. Like that's straight up embarrassing. um, oh boy. So let's dive into this match because that was a little bit of the news. New stadium updates potentially, and then obviously this young keeper that we're supposedly signing. So, yeah, dude, I got thoughts on these guys, Box. I'm not happy at all with a lot of this shit, but big up, you guys. Let's see here. Oh, we got Gary, absolute legend, Gary. Thank you, my friend, with a super chat coming in. Ruben has made it clear he won't change. We know how this rodeo goes. He won't see November. Truly is mind-boggling that he keeps doing the same thing. Yeah, I don't. That's the thing I don't get. Like, there's a fine line between self-belief and just like naive stubbornness. Like, and I think didn't Jose say something about like you never want to like be stubborn when it comes to like your philosophy or something because it'll get you sacked, something along those lines. Like I get it. Managers have a way that they want to play. They have a way that they think that's the way they see football. Everybody's different. I get it. But if you can't make a jump from the Portuguese league to the Premier League and not realize for a second, all right, maybe there are some differences, maybe there are some changes I do need to make. Not wholesale changes. I'm not saying just go to a 4-2-3-1 and play counterattack football. You don't have to do that. There are little things though. And Amorim, like, it's too many changes during a match that look more reactionary than actually tactical. He's not learning. He's not picking his best players. He's playing players out of position. It's just if it's the hill he wants to die on, that's fine. What my concern now at this point, Gary, is just I don't want it to get too late like it was last season. I don't want us to get to this point where it's already like untenable in terms of just salvaging something from the season. Like we still have a chance to go to the FA Cup and do something there. We still have a chance to get something from the league, but I don't know if it's going to be under Amorim, but big up, man. Thank you for that super chat. You're an absolute legend. Yeah, it's not good, Box. Back to back. No, I honestly thought this could have been the one, and just Brentford just they just completely destroyed us, dude. Absolutely destroyed us. Let's talk about team selection since it's something I have a big gripe with. Let me drink of water first. Get your Fergie time mug in the United vs. Everybody store. There's tons of mugs in there. I keep forgetting that we've got mugs, and there's beanies now and stuff. There's a poster too, magnets, stickers. It's all over the place. So this was another match where Amorim really had an opportunity to change things up, right? Without some players being fit, Casemiro red card, Ahmad gone. There was a chance to maybe again put Bruno in a more advanced role somehow. Menu on the bench again, throwing Dallo right into the back. I don't know how Dallo can be out injured, literally just returned to training, and then immediately be thrown in. That's the part where I'm so confused because Lamens was fit. Lamens is just fine. Lamens has been sitting on the bench for like a month. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So someone made a comment about the back three. Yeah, the back three were slow. I sort of get why. Like I can understand looking at that back three why Amorim maybe went with that, but you can't play those three players if you're also going to play a high line. There were periods where we had the ball in the opposition half in Brentford's half. Shaw and De Ligt were literally about 5 yards into that half. Maguire was basically on the halfway line, and like you cannot do that. That is some of the worst rest defense that's through the filter of the personnel you have. It's not like you've got Van de Ven and shit sitting there who can just book it. We've got the slowest back three, arguably in the Premier League. You cannot play that high line with them, and that to me is a problem. And then again, like you guys say, when you bring on Euro too to kind of start, like that shows me, like, all right, this ain't working. Same with midfield. One of the biggest criticisms I've had for Amorim again has been that team selection, his subs, and as well. It doesn't change. It's just I can't think he's going into this just saying like I'm not going to make the changes because I just don't. If he honestly thinks that it's going to work like that, I don't know what's more worrying, his stubbornness or him just maybe thinking it's going to work at some point. I mean, it's one thing to not have the players. It's another thing entirely to keep changing them as well in the matches, because that shows me you just don't know how to use your players. Uh, but this was the first match where Amorim actually had all three of his attackers fit and ready to start. Still wasn't enough. I mean, shoot, I'd sack him just for not playing Lamens alone, honestly, at this point. But and I can't even say like, oh, his three attackers have been injured. He just didn't play. He's Shesko. Like, he just didn't. I don't get this shit, man. What are you guys saying? We are in a worse position, says Gary, than we were this time last year. We're only a few games in. No Europa League, 1 game a week. Yeah. Again, the players aren't, free of blame here. The players have a lot to answer for yesterday. They didn't look like they gave an absolute dog shit yesterday. It was so bad. Yeah, it was a little bit of raw product placement. Yeah, it's not looking good. Let's see. Bexy says Mainu wasn't playing well. I mean, Mainu's only played, combined like 20 minutes in the last 2 matches. It's hard to give. That's like remember when Ollie was giving Donny Van de Beek like 2 minutes of stoppage time? Like, what the hell are we? What is he supposed to do with 2 minutes of stoppage time, bro? Boy. Box says Ange 6 games, 0 wins at Forest. Poor Nuno. Yeah, it's not a good. I was doing some research yesterday on manager sacking in like the last 7-8 years, and it reads for pretty interesting correlations between a lot of things. But there's in the 22-23 season there were 32 manager changes in the Premier League alone that season. That's insane. Like, that's insane. And that most of that was like Chelsea just firing people left and right. Oh boy. Daddy says Maguire, Dallo, Shaw still starting in 25-26. Says it all. Yeah. Dallo, Jose Mourinho signing, Maguire, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signing, Shaw, Louis van Gaal signing. That I'm not pointing them out like they're shit players necessarily. I'm just saying, like, what does that say about the players we've signed, and what does that say about the club? Now, I can't necessarily blame all that on Ineos, but it's like, it's ridiculous, dude. Composed View says Amorim was outthought by a set-piece coach who had his best players sold in his first coaching job. Yeah, it's not looking good, dude, at all. Gary says, yeah, midfield. Yeah, we tend to not really address the midfield at United. We like leave that one position late. I mean, and whenever we do get a player in midfield, it's usually an older player, aside from like Ugarte, because we got Matic when he was older. We kept Carrick until he was his mid-30s, and our Carrick was class. But Casemiro, older player as well. It just does not make sense to me at all. We just don't bring in the midfield. Box says never knew Keith Andrews was a manager. He's a set-piece coach, man. Richard said, here's the thing. When Amorim took over, the club said we are not going to buy players for any one system. That's exactly what we have done. Now, I'd argue that, Richard, just because I don't think that that's what Ineos are doing. I don't think we're buying players only for Amorim. I think we are buying players kind of like what Liverpool did. They didn't buy players necessarily for Klopp. Liverpool are buying players under the rebuild that they started under Klopp for the way they want to play. Klopp was part of that. Remember, Klopp didn't want Mo Salah. He wanted Julian Brandt. I think that that's what we're doing. If you look at a lot of the players, like Dorgu wasn't bought for Amorim necessarily. We were linked to Dorgu way before Ten Hag, like the spring before Ten Hag got the FA Cup. We were linked to Dorgu back then. I don't necessarily think we're just buying players for Amorim, because we bought Ugarte, for instance, under Ten Hag, but we were already talking to Amorim at that time, is my point. And I don't think like this summer, we've been following Shesko for a number of years, for instance. And I think that that's one of the distinct something to be, since we never had a proper clear out. It's difficult to have a clear out, but does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily. I'm just, what I see from the players that Ineos are signing is they have a lot of they're versatile. So I think they suit a number of different systems, and they've got a little bit more of the mentality that we're looking at from what we need to try to get up to. Guys like Cunha and Buemo, supposedly. I mean, we haven't seen it under anything yet, but Gary says, fun fact, house party in Dublin around 20 years ago, Keith Andrews was there all over some girl. Got himself a set piece, huh? Big up. Box, Dorgu would look better as a left back, not a left wing back. Well, he is a left back, and that's what he was at Lecce. Amorim doesn't use a left back, so it is what it is. Composed View says, I heard something that makes sense. The players bailed him out versus Lyon. So how do you play so badly? His system doesn't mask players' flaws and help them excel in their positions. Yeah, he doesn't really seem to know what his best players are in their positions. He's making just the opposite decision of what I think most of us would make with some of that stuff. So Danny says it's time. He says it's time. Now, managers available is different than replacements. Managers available limits is very limited at the moment. But if you look at replacements, i.e., waiting to the summer or paying big to get something now, like I said, I've got like 7 or 8. But you guys go in that poll in the community tab and help me decide if that's going to be one long video or if it's going to be broken down in individual videos. Then you've got the option of interims as well. Like if your main target isn't available now and you have to wait to the summer, do you get an interim, like knowing it's going to be an interim, like we did with like Rude or something? Not like the Ollie thing where we got him and then we made him permanent. I don't want to do that. But Yorkshire Cowboy, welcome back. Playing a high press with McGuire in the middle. Yeah, and that I said a couple minutes ago. I get why he did that line in terms of set pieces and long throw-ins, but at the same time, you can't play a high line with that back three. It's just suicide, dude. It's absolutely suicidal. Rob said, I said once Eric went, Neil Warnock, everybody laughed. Who's crying? I don't even know what Neil Warnock is doing anymore. Composer wants to know why Bruno wasn't sold. Well, I mean, again, you can't just, if Bruno doesn't want to go, it's not that simple either. And Amorim, I think, really does rely on him. The problem is he's just not getting the best out of him right now. And so it's really, if I'm Bruno, I'm not happy if you're basically your manager's convincing you to stay and is trusting you and wants you, but then plays you completely out of position, and your job is basically just to find the wide players all day long. Like, it's just not getting the best out of Bruno, and it's killing the performance. Gingerbish, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Amorim's lack of managerial experience is glaring to see now. A change is inevitable. Wilcox and Barada should join Amorim on the way out. Best in class, apparently. Well, I mean, remember, those guys didn't join the club until like July. They weren't able to really do anything. So I'm not, those guys, I mean, Barada maybe. Wilcox is doing his thing right now. He's getting some players. He's working hard. I don't think he has much to say about manager as like Barada and Sir Jim do personally, but we'll see. Overall, I thought Pawson was a bit of a joke yesterday. I thought that some of the calls he was making was a bit ridiculous. No VAR check for ahead of Brentford's opener. I don't know if you guys remember, Cunha was fouled in Brentford's area. Not saying like penalty, but just outside of it. It was a foul. Literally no. They checked for potential offside on Thiago, which was never a question of offside. But they didn't check on the foul. That was literally a foul. And throughout the rest of the match, what did my head in, it was like he also awarded us several free kicks for the exact same foul, but didn't go ahead and chalk off that opening goal for that one. That was annoying. They should have also been down to 10 men. Now, I'm not saying like I wanted us to get down to 10 men. It's really sad that that's where we're at right now when it comes to having to win, but they should have been down to 10 men. Collins should have been sent off for that. If we got the penalty, he should have been sent off. He just should have. Last man, denying goal scoring opportunity, should have been sent off. Like, I know we complain about inconsistent application of the rules of the laws of the game, but is it just too much to ask for actual application of the laws of the game? Like, should have been down to 10 men. VAR should have chalked off that opening goal personally. But honestly, the manner in which we conceded that opening goal was just embarrassing. Like, and it got out of hand quickly. When you go down 2-0 away from home, it's a big ask to get something back from that match. And it really felt to me like the players felt the same way. Like, we let Brentford play their game, like Amorim said, and despite planning for it, and we just never got control. We just let them do whatever they wanted. No resilience. The players just looked like they gave up, and it was just shit. Part of the goal we conceded to open the match, that was on Amorim. Part of it is just horrible. Like the defenders just switched off. Like, almost carbon copy of the kind of goal that we've conceded in the past against teams like Crystal Palace. Almost similar to what like Holland did to Shaw and De Ligt. Remember, he just basically ran right through them. I didn't get that, but at the end of the day, if you ignore the badges on the shirts and just watch two teams, it's not hard to see Brentford were by far the better side. They played like the home side. They bullied us. They 10 shots, 8 on target. We just had 6 on target from 14 shots. 9 of our shots were from inside the box. I mean, our best XG on the night was the pen, and that basically made our XG look a lot better than it really should. And we had more of the ball. We completed 100 more passes than Brentford, but did we ever really look in control of that match, like at all? Even our attackers, Cunha, Shesko, and Bemo, they weren't clicking. They didn't do anything for me. I think that one of my biggest gripes was Cunha and Bemo. They're starting to look like Ahmad too. Like, learn how to pass and move the ball. They're trying to do too much on their own, and they're just losing possession. Pass and move, pass and move. It's not that difficult. Pass the ball, run into space. One dribble completed over the entire 90 minutes out of our entire team. One successful dribble in the whole match. That's just shit. We're holding on to the ball too much. We're not getting it up the pitch. And we got bullied into losing possession time. The only player to complete a dribble was Dorgu. He literally had the only successful dribble on the night. We just let them push us around, man. It's just really not great. What are you guys saying here? Yorkshire says, yeah, definitely a red card. It should have been a red card like every single day of the week and twice on Sunday, man. Like, he should have been sent off for sure. Like, in this box, every time I see an idiot stick pundit say something, all I can think of, I have this GIF that I use a lot on Twitter when pundits do it, and it's just Rocket Raccoon from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I think of, that's the first thing you said that wasn't batshit crazy. That's how I feel when I saw Michael Owen say that yesterday. Ginger doesn't want them to go down to 10. It's less embarrassing, honestly. I'm just calling like a C. This is like, me wanting the red is not me. It's take it out of the context of the game and more. It's just about applying the laws of the game the way they're supposed to be applied. Like, that's annoying. So, but Samuel, big up. Welcome back. I'm just getting caught up on the chat here for a hot second. Ruben Amorim should play Heaven, God will Kokonki, Yoro, Mizraoui. Mizraoui was injured, so he's not playing. But Heaven, I definitely would have liked to have seen. I think he could hang a little bit, probably better than Shaw anyway. I don't know if Kokonki's quite ready yet, though, personally. Richard says, I agree with all you say, but we are united. We should not be relying on another team. No, I'm not saying we're relying on it. I'm just, again, if you just isolate that incident, should have been a red, but it is what it is. So let me get Nikki. Welcome to the channel. Nikki Blamman says, Bournemouth, you want Iriola. I like Iriola a lot. I think Iriola's doing a very good job. Then when you look at just how many, like, he lost his entire back line. Uatara, Zabarni, Howson, Kirke's all gone. Literally all gone. Yeah, I don't understand this one, man. We spent, what, 3, 4, 5 million to get Bayindir as a backup a couple years ago, and we spent almost 20 million to get Lamens in the summer. But now the backup, who wasn't good enough to ever start for us, is now good enough. It doesn't make sense. Bayindir's shit, dude. He just is, dude. Let's see. Pablo, welcome to the channel. Got a lot of new faces, you guys. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Check those memberships too if you want to learn how you can get involved in content on the channel. We do scouting reports. I do a fun little series called What If that just wrapped up season 3 recently, but memberships allow you to make suggestions. I've got a scouting report special coming out soon. A couple of those players are players that you guys have recommended in the last couple of weeks, guys like from St. Pauli and whatnot, someone from Lille, wink, wink, Danny B. So keep that in mind. I will give you a shout out too if we use your player. Pablo says Ugarte is the worst scapegoat. Yeah, I do think, while I don't think Ugarte is great, like, I wouldn't, like, if somebody gave us a good offer, I would sell him, but he's basically having to do the job of 2 midfielders because of Bruno is just not a deep midfielder. He's just not. It is unfortunate. Yeah, he's working hard, man. It's not his fault that he's just not good on the ball. I mean, maybe you could say that is his fault, but he's not that player. That's not his profile, unfortunately. So, Compose View says, how do you line up the slowest defenders we have when their strikers are pacey, even if Yoro hasn't played well? Common sense demands you put him in for his pace. Yeah, you notice too, Brentford, they weren't using a lot of their assists came from Henderson and Yarmouk, their deeper midfielders, because they would get the ball to them, beat our initial press, and then just hoof it long. Like, they weren't trying to get it to the wide players necessarily. They were just hoofing it long. The wide players were almost decoys at that point, dude. Yeah, I scouted him a few years back when he was still at Feyenoord, Danny Senesi. He's a good midfielder, or a good defender. I like him a lot. So Ginger says, does a new manager even help? I'm not saying a new manager is necessarily going to fix everything, because we've seen that it doesn't, just like a new player doesn't fix everything. I think that's like Glazernomics thinking and Woodward thinking. But it also, the other side of that coin is, does a different manager get more from these players? And that's the question you have to ask. Would another manager do better with the squad that he has right now? And that's because Amorim is not. He's just not like using. He's not even playing the players in their best position. You're never going to get the most out of your players if you're playing them out of position over and over again. You've got too high a line. You've got Bruno playing deep. It's just not working. It just literally is not working. Vicky says Amorim is trying to get the team he's picking has to be sabotage. I have no answers. Again, like we've said on many of these streams, there's more questions than answers when it comes to this stuff, man. Seriously. On Binder needs to go. Like, and honestly, I know someone said he should play on the bench. I don't even think Binder should be on the bench anymore because I don't want him to ever be an option. I don't want there to ever be a chance that Binder sees another minute for United. He is worse than Onana. He's literally worse than Onana. I think a lot of us think Onana is worse because he played more. Binder is worse than Onana. He just is. I don't know what it is about some managers these days that makes them so hesitant to give minutes to new signings. I don't get it, but it does my head. And Lamens has to start. But I know someone asked earlier, do you think Lamens starts against Sunderland? I don't even think it's a point in wasting my breath anymore. Will Lamens start? It's just no point. It's like the whole change to a back four argument. Like, it almost doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's just, he's not going to do it. He's not going to play Bruno in a 10. He's not going to switch his formation. Like, it's just not. So, defenders were poor. Again, caught too high up the pitch, switched off, getting done by a simple pass or a simple counterattack or some simple movement on set pieces. I mean, like I said, Igor Thiago basically making the same run through our center backs that Haaland made and just got on the end of something and just scored. Binder should do better there. Getting beat as a near post, not a good look. He doesn't come off his line. He doesn't close down the angle, which is just literally goalkeeping 101. Like, you just have to. But in terms of like the runs that Igor Thiago is making, like, that's not even like techie level defending. That's literally just running. All you have to do is run, like, and we still can't handle it, dude. It's freaking embarrassing. And someone tell me what is going on here. What is this fucking nonsense right here? Harry Maguire, what are you doing here, pal? I don't understand what's going through this man's head, man. This is why, like, I love Maguire. I don't think he should be captain. He's obviously not good enough on a high line. And I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people say. But then he has these moments like this where I'm like, what are you doing? And this is not the first time Maguire's done something like this on set pieces. He's so bad. Remember when he kicked Pogba in the head defending a set piece, dude? Oh, jeez. Danny says Carrick and Rooney. Just bring the whole. Get Carrick, get Ollie, get Rude, get them all. Just have a 4-man managing team. Get Giggsy. Give it Giggsy to the end of the season, right? Get the band back together, says Box. Rob's throwing out a little headline. Yeah, Rob Taft. So that's from Simon Stone, who literally wrote the same article about Ten Hag before he got sacked. So I don't buy anything from that guy anymore. Yorkshire says it's the bullishness with Ruben Amorim. I'll leave before changing. How many wins? I mean, I feel like at some point, someone with a bit more humility would just say, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. If he cares about the club, maybe it's just time to leave, dude. Ginger Bish says Binder will be 100% be playing against Sunderland. Bruno will be in the pivot with Casemiro. Yeah, it's probably, and again, that's why I don't even bother anymore predicting the starting 11s. There's no point. There's literally no point. Oh boy. Let's see. Box says Lamon's been dubbed the Iron Dome in training apparently because he's never beaten. Richard says, I like Altai, but let's face it, he would struggle to make number 1 in champ. Yeah, Altai's garbage, dude. He's garbage. He is absolute garbage. I don't know what's going on in this photo, but Harry Maguire, dude, not good. That's just shit. That's the kind of shit that Maguire has in his locker that just, you're just like, dude, what? What are you doing? As far as other individuals, Ugarte, it's hard to, I mean, I can't go in too hard on Ugarte in a match like this because he was on his own most of the night. Yes, Bruno's wasted deep. That's not necessarily Bruno's fault. He's not a deep line midfielder. He's an attacker. Dallow's just not good enough. Dorgu fights, and again, he completed the only dribble, but he's still not there yet. He's only 20 years old. Like, the front three can't score. They can't do anything besides we got lucky. I mean, Cunha and Shesko, if you guys watch that match back, there were several times where we would like get the ball wide to Mbeumo. And Kuno and Shesko are literally making the same run. You could literally throw a blanket in some of those moments and cover both Cunha and Shesko. That's how close they are. Cunha's got to learn to just chill, hold his position a little better, and just stick to that. We had no one on the back post a lot of times because Cunha's trying to make that central run, basically running into Shesko. Mbeumo, I need him to do more. He scored a goal in open play. And he's won a couple of he won a free kick and he won a pen. Like that's what I need him to do more than that. I'm not giving up on him. I'm just, dude, you're like one of the best attackers in the Premier League, you and Cunha, and I'm not seeing it yet. And I think we are relying too heavily on Mbeumo in that moment. Maybe it was a mistake to start him against his former club. I don't know, but we're relying a lot on that right-hand side. We got Trini Red Devil, welcome back. Said from the beginning, people didn't want to hear it. You said what from the beginning? Let me know. Pablo says, I back the system that hate his player choice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, the system is the issue. The problem with player choice, again, his hands are tied in some respect, but I said in my January New Year's resolutions video last season, and I said it going into this season, just play the players in their best position, stop making so many changes, and he's still doing it, dude. He's still freaking doing it, man. It's really, it's so bad. DeBassi's welcome back. So Laman's wondering why I joined this club. I don't get that. He and James Trafford are probably sitting there like, what the hell? I wonder if they just hang out in Manchester as just the backup keepers who are wondering what the hell they did, man. Richard says he's not thinking about going, but my hotel, my match tickets, and plane tickets are already paid. Yeah, I texted Dylan yesterday because you guys know Dylan and I are going to be going in December. I texted him like, is it too late to cancel our flight? I mean, shit, dude. I don't want to. It's one thing to get up early and watch that shit. It's another thing to spend money and travel and go watch that shit. But yeah, I do think we're relying a little too heavily on the right-hand side. And I don't know if that's because Cunha's playing a little too centrally at times, if we're not really trusting Dorgu enough yet. But again, yesterday, I found this graphic on Twitter earlier from at Adnan433 and at Sahil G down. But if you look at where these chances came from for United is the blue side, the right-hand side. Literally, like one chance came from Dorgu, and that's just literally a pass from the midfield. All of our chances were coming from Dalot, coming from Mbeumo. I think combined, the two of them had it was 3 chances from Dalot and 2 chances from Mbeumo. Well, I think we're relying on too much. Now, again, Dalot did create the most chances, but historically his final ball is so bad. He can't be the one that we rely upon. We can't be that so right-hand side heavy when Dalot's delivery is so shit. I need a right wing back, an actual proper right wing back who can put a ball into the box, who can get up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. That's what I need. Who's got a bit of work rate about him. That is not good enough from us. Very, very, very highly reliant on that right-hand side. Just get drunk before typically if I get there early enough. So we're getting in for Newcastle Wolves, so we're probably not going to have enough time to go to the Bishop Blaze. Usually I'll go to the Bishop Blaze, but we'll probably go run up to the rooftop of Hotel Football. But for the Wolves match, we'll definitely be going to the Blaze because we'll be there early. Blaze, those are my people. I love going there. Pablo says, your opinion on Bruno overall, just not Brentford. Bruno he's our best player. He literally is our best player. He's just being played out of position. And I've got more thoughts on Bruno in a second because you guys know I do my 3 thoughts. So Bruno's not a bad player. We've seen he's literally looking at numbers, chance creation. He's been our top scorer since he joined. In the Premier League alone, he's been one of the best chance creators in the league, if not the best. I think there was one season where Trent Alexander-Arnold just edged him out. But Bruno is a good midfielder. He's a good player in a shit side with no stability since he joined. And now he's being played out of position. It's like we wouldn't ask De Ligt to play right back. I don't know why we're expecting a lot from Bruno in a deeper role. He's not physically press resistant, defensive enough to play that role. In this 2-man midfield that was already being carved open for years, even under Ten Hag, he can't play that deeper role. He just doesn't. Box. Dorgu's delivery's got to improve, but I like what Dorgu brings. He's got mentality, he's got fight, he's got energy, he's got intensity. That final ball just got to improve a little bit. He's got to just put it in earlier. He waits too long. He just waits too long. So, Bexy says play 4-3-3. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I don't know any manager that we would get that plays a 4-3-3 besides maybe Xavi, who is still a free agent, by the way, but that's literally it. But 3-5-2 would work just fine as well. I mean, you just rotate, not every attacker is going to play 90 minutes. That's all. It wouldn't be hard to do. Yeah, we know you don't like Dallo. Richard says Crystal Palace play our system. Well, they play our formation. Now, formation and system are not the same thing. They play the 3-4-2-1. They don't necessarily play the same way as we do. Palace play a similar way to like what City are starting to play and what for. They play a little bit more quick transition. We don't really do that very well. Yeah, box midfield is non-existent. Ginger Bish says Amorim's entire philosophy, as far as I'm aware, is intensity and athleticism. But this season, I've seen us play like that maybe twice. Feels to me like half the squad wants out. It does feel to me a little bit like the squad is starting to give up a little bit. Their hearts just aren't in it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Again, it's hard to know what came first, right? The player's heart's not in it, or because of Amorim's system, or is Amorim's system not work because the players' hearts aren't in it? Maybe some of them, maybe if it's a zooming out the lens a little bit, and it's not just about I'm dissatisfied or I'm defeated because of Amorim. It could be I've just been at this club for long and nothing's changing. I think maybe that has a lot to do with what happened with Rashford as well. It's just nothing's getting better at the club, and they don't seem to know what they're doing. Rashford even said in that interview that they've never really started a rebuild. It's just now the first time they started. I think Rashford just got tired of waiting around for it. So we've seen that sometimes. Rooney, we did that video in one of the What If episodes a while back. Rooney, did not see ambition from the club when Tevez left and when Ronaldo left, and he didn't see them. He needed to see that the club was actually trying to do something. I don't see that quite yet. So Richard doesn't know how he paid all that money on 2 number 10s. Yeah, I know a midfielder was something that a lot of us said we need to do. We did try to go for Baleba. Brighton just didn't want to sell. We made a late move for Conor Gallagher on loan. Atletico didn't want to do a loan. They just wanted to sell. I don't think we wanted to do that. We need a midfielder. In January, we need a midfielder, or else this is just going to get horrible, like horrible. Pablo says, I hope Dorgu not become Adama Traore in the near future. Get the ball every time, no output. Yeah, he just needs to put the ball in earlier. He just waits a little too long. And I've said this, and Gary Neville said this as well when it comes to just putting crosses in the box. Gary Neville said when he learned to try to stop picking out a player and just put the ball into the box, like he said, it got a lot better. And that's what I said about Dorgu last season. He's trying too hard to pick out a player rather than just put it into space. Just put it into space, which when you have to put the ball in earlier. If you wait too long, it's just Ahmad waits too long. Ahmad will take the ball all the way to the byline, turn, and take about 18,000 touches, and then lose it or just pass it to the opposition. He's got to move that ball quicker. I think Ahmad maybe doesn't have as good of a right foot as we might think, but it is what it is. Let's look. I mean, literally the only positive for me from this whole match was Šeško, his goal. Finally letting Šeško getting his goal. I mean, he had the fewest touches in the match out of all the players, but again, his goal was probably the only positive thing that I saw from this whole match yesterday. I was just celebrating him finally, getting a goal for the side. That's literally the only positive I can think of. If you guys can think of any more, let me know. Like and subscribe. I'm gonna give you guys my 3 thoughts as we go along. Let me do it this way so it's a little easier to see because we're doing this. So give me your 3 thoughts. I'm gonna throw mine in here, starting with number 1. Just not good enough. I kind of feel like this should be the first thought in every match reaction stream right now, because it's literally been my first thought in every reaction stream. We were just bad. I saw no hustle, no fight, no focus from anybody. I never felt confident from opening whistle that we would get anything from this match. Even when Bruno stepped up to take that pen that he missed, I didn't feel confident. He had the same look on his face that Casemiro had. He had the same look on his face that he had last time. It just didn't look focused. And why are you changing your run-up, bro? Why are you changing your pen technique when right now we needed that goal? Again, it's just bad all around. Poor passing, nobody finding Šeško, no touches for him. I mean, hopefully the goal will give Šeško a little bit of a boost. But, I mean, even if you put aside the fact that we really should be beating this Brentford side, at any point, did we even look like, let's say we weren't the better side, at any point did we show any fight from the team who was down a goal, coming from behind? Did we ever show we were trying to like claw our way back into this? Like, do we even give a shit? There was no urgency. I saw no leadership on the pitch. Do we even prepare for these matches, man? Literally everything I said Brentford were going to do, they did, and they bullied us, and they were by far the better side. They were aggressive in the press. Like I said, that's why we completed one dribble on the night. They looked to hit us on those quick transitions and long balls, which is what I said they would do, and they heavily utilized those throw-ins, which is exactly what they did. Now, they didn't score from any of those throw-ins, mind you, but they scored a few goals that really we should be doing better. They dominated for 90 minutes because of that intensity, that physicality, that speed. They just didn't let up, and their fans will be fucking drunk all weekend celebrating that shit, man. The intense press, the quick counterattack, like, let's play the slowest defenders we have and play them pretty much in Brentford's half. That's what I mean. Did we even prepare? Does Amorim even know that Maguire is not Mickey Van de Ven? Like, what are you thinking, dude? They were switched off. Bindier doesn't help by being completely glued to his line. It's just goalkeeping 101 from Bindier. I don't understand, like I've said many times, how I can spend 5 minutes online, just Google Keith Andrews' Brentford tactics, and in 5 minutes in that match preview tell you exactly what they're going to do. But Amorim and his entire coaching staff look completely unprepared for these matches. It's like they don't even care about opposition analysis. Like, opposition analysis, player analysis, these are things you need to do. This is basic. I have freaking certifications in opposition analysis, for fuck's sake. Like, how does Amorim and his coaching staff not do this? Amorim himself said after the game that they prepared for their quick transitions. I didn't see a single fucking thing that showed me that they look like they prepared. Now, either that's just Amorim full of shit, or he's an idiot and doesn't know the difference, or the players just didn't do it. If the players didn't do it, that's a problem. They're either stupid, or Amorim literally can't explain to 30-year-old defenders how to defend basic counterattacks or long balls. Like, someone make this make sense. Maybe Dylan was right. If you guys remember the other day, Dylan said maybe we just get complacent and arrogant against lesser sides and show up thinking we don't have to try. It kind of feels like it. It kind of feels like the players just didn't even try. And then when we went 2 goals down, they were like, well, there's that then. I mean, what evidence is there in recent years to suggest that we have any right to be arrogant in these situations? These players have, I mean, Coventry nearly knocked us out of the FA Cup. Grimsby flat out embarrassed us. I mean, this is not a good look. And even before that, I mean, MK Dons, Middlesbrough, way back in cup ties and stuff. Borough have put 8 past us now. Like, no, 11 goals past us in the last several meetings. Like, there's no right for us to be arrogant about this at all. Let me get caught up in the chat, you guys. Let me see. I got to get caught up here. So, Buck says, we'll stop playing wingbacks when Amorim leaves. Yeah, we don't have wingbacks is the issue. We should have bought a proper wingback if this is the way we're going to play. Richard says, but on the positive side, our ticket prices are going up. Good news. Alfie, welcome to the channel. Says, free Lamans. Yes, free Lamans. Let's get him in there, man. Big up. Welcome to the channel. Ginger Bish says, one thing's for certain, Ineos are getting more decisions wrong than right, and they look like they haven't got a clue. We're going to talk about that in a second, too, because I've got thoughts on this. I want you guys to look up the sunk cost fallacy and let me know what you think about that. Trini Red Devil says, Amorim doesn't watch pens. He doesn't watch corners. He's the worst United manager I've ever seen. Starting Luke Shaw and Maguire when you should start Euro and Heaven against Brentford. Yeah, I mean, I said I would rotate Shaw for this one and start Heaven. At this point, it just feels like a waste of breath. I'm going to be honest with you. Box says, we played in midfield of Ugarte, Manu versus Brentford in May and conceded 4. And that's so funny because Manu and Ugarte were the midfield we started against City in December when Amorim won, too. Like, it's so weird, man. Ginger Bish says, we should be beating this Brentford side. We barely beat a promoted side in Burnley. No, we should. The way we played against Chelsea and the way Brentford are playing, you put both of those things together, you're thinking, yeah, we should be beating them. Like, we should. I didn't say it was going to be a freaking mauling, but we should be beating them. I think I predicted like 2-1, 3-1. I don't remember. We should have been beating them. And again, if we would just prepared, play the player, just put your defenders 5-10 yards deeper, play a different defender, put Bruno a little higher up the pitch, we could have done something. It's simple things that we should be beating. It's not like it's rocket science, but Curtis a Frog, big up. Hi, mate. How are you doing? Yes, welcome. How are you doing? I like seeing all the new faces. Debas says, Cooney seems very desperate, trying to get a goal. He's having Garnophobia. Yeah, he does look like he's trying a little too hard sometimes, but I said that. He and Mbumo, like, they're holding on to the ball too long. You got to start passing and moving. Now, if Bruno were playing higher up the pitch, we could see something a little different there, because then you could have someone else that you could interchange with, maybe, or just drop Shesko a little deeper. Maybe play Bruno as a false nine. I don't know. And put like Mainu and Ugarte or Mainu and Casemiro behind him. I don't know what to tell you. I have no answers for you there, because we, like as Bach said, we've tried different things and none of it works. So Richard says, I also have to give credit to Brentford yesterday. Their execution was excellent. Yeah, they were just the better side. They knew what they had to do, and they did it, and they just didn't let us breathe at all. Gingerbish says, I don't think any coach should have to explain to professional footballers how to do basic defending. If you need that teaching, then you shouldn't be playing football. I agree. I've said that about set piece defending, and a lot of people were calling out Ten Hag and Amorim picking apart the set piece that we conceded, and I'm like, I get to a point where I don't feel like the coach should have to coach that kind of stuff. Same with freaking Coventry in the FA Cup semifinal. We were up 3-0 in like the 70 some odd minute. Like at that point, Ten Hag should have just been able to go home. Amorim shouldn't have even had to show up against Grimsby Town. No offense to Grimsby Town, he shouldn't have had to show up. That should have been in the bag. Like you shouldn't have to coach that match. Like you just shouldn't have to. But these players they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So half of them don't have good footballing IQ, and the other half just don't have the mentality and the fight to do it. And it's just a horrible, horrible combination. I sound South African. Interesting. What does a South African sound like? Let me know. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Box says any midfield 2 doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work when there's that huge hole there, because you don't have a number 10 anymore. Now, these 2 10s, sometimes they're 10s, sometimes they're wingers. It just depends on game state, depends on, if we've got the ball, if we're defending, it's just all going to defend. But again, that's where it comes down to footballing IQ and tactics. Some of these players don't. That's why we're shit at pressing, because these players don't know what pressing triggers are. They don't know how to press as a unit. They don't understand that pressing is not just chasing the ball around like my dog does in the backyard. That's not pressing. You have to press in certain areas. You've got triggers. You've got to make traps and stuff. And these players, I just don't think it's no coincidence. And I've said this many times, that when we get a tactical manager in, a lot of these players fall apart. When they're just able to run and kick things and hoof long balls, a lot of them look amazing, but they don't look good when they've got to slow down and actually think a little bit. Rob says, has Amorim ever taken a pen? I have no idea. I don't know what Amorim's playing career was like off the top of my head personally. Danny thinks we are going to be seriously in a relegation battle if he's not gone by Halloween. Well, again, if we sack him before November, we have to pay a lot of money. So maybe, I hope they're not just waiting. But again, sunk cost fallacy. I wonder if Ineos are thinking maybe they're hesitant to give up because they've already invested so much. That is fallacious thinking. So I don't think we're going to be relegated, though. Danny says, too early to say, but we're playing. Yeah, we look like shit. Debasi says, hello, Southgate. Fucking hell. Oh, my God. Oh, somebody posted a video. It was a video clip of Amorim and Wilcox, and this is why it reminded me of like they're laughing at the train stop or something in London. You guys see this clip? I commented on it because I think whoever posted it was like, what do you think they're saying? And I commented, Jason Wilcox telling Amorim, hey, did we ever tell you who we were going to place Ten Hag with? Southgate. And I just pretended Amorim was laughing at that. Yeah, Southgate, that's a joke, dude. That is a joke. Kurt says Bruno's missed 2 of his last 3 pens. I don't know if missed penalties is a sign necessarily that someone should be sold, because players do miss pens. Eden Hazard missed a pen, if you guys remember that. I mean, it happens. But it's not just about the miss. And we'll talk about Bruno in a second here, because he's my second thought. In fact, I'll go ahead and put it on the screen now. It's more about the wider kind of perspective on what's going on with Bruno this season, because Bruno's not having a great season. But I don't know if missed pens is in itself is a sign that someone should be sold personally. But Bruno probably needs to be rotated a little bit here and there, and he definitely maybe needs to be taken off pens. He's already been taken off corners. You guys see Mbumo's taking those now. So Trini says every team we play under Amorim, his system makes it look like it's the hardest fucking game in the world. I mean, we did really well against City, I thought, last year, but that means few and far between. We looked good against Liverpool too, when we got that 1-1 draw last year too, when Licha scored. Let's see. Box says PL quality-wise is decent, but a lot of teams have flaws, in my opinion, so it's wide open. We are not putting ourselves in the position to capitalize. Yeah, and that's my thing. That's why I say he's got to put himself in the best position to get the best result and the best output from these players, and that starts with playing them in their best positions, and that he can't even do that. Oh, let me get caught up. You guys are all sorts of chatting. I love it. Kurt says Sunderland are fourth, and we're getting them next. Sunderland are fourth, but I don't know if that means that they're a top four side necessarily. They're doing well though. It helps when you buy a lot of players, and it helps when you're physical as hell. But I mean, like Bournemouth, they're up there. I don't know if Bournemouth are a top four side. And so Palace are doing pretty well as well. Which is, I'm going to get pissed before I go to the ground on Saturday. So if it goes wrong, at least I can sleep through the second half. There's always a mass exodus too. Like if this game were at Old Trafford, I guarantee you that stadium would look like cities by halftime, just empty as shit. If anyone is going to be in Old Trafford for Newcastle Wolves, and you guys want to link up and get a drink, let us know. Dylan and I will be there. We've got some time in between to chill. We are going to a Salford match as well, so we will have that going on. But Malps, big up. Welcome to the channel. Forget new managers. How about new owners? Yikes. It would be nice to get the Glazers out of here. It really, really would. The problem with the new owners, too, if Ineos have to turn around and sack Amorim after all the money they spent to sack Ten Hag and buy Amorim and his coaching staff, then they're just going to look completely inept. Probably more so than they already do. Our people are already thinking they're inept. But welcome to the channel, Mobs. Big up. Device says Southgate gives good sleep in the game. Anyone who can't sleep must watch the game. Yeah, Southgate would be so uninspiring, Just like no, I don't even. Not even as an interim would I want Southgate. He's so bad. He's so bad. Composer says, isn't the coach responsible for teaching and showing these players how to press as a unit and what to do in certain situations? Yeah, they are. And that's what I mean. Like, is it the players just don't understand it because they struggled under Ragnick, they struggle under Ten Hag as well? Or is Amorim just unable to communicate those tactics in that direction? The coach, manage is a verb. I've said this many times. Manage is also a verb. You've got to be able to find a way to do it. Even doctors, even if I'm a mental health professional, I can sit here and say, like, I can give people tools and kind of help them see perspectives and stuff and try to help them heal without necessarily giving them advice. But if they have to kind of adhere to it, but even if they don't, I've also got to find a way to get it to click. Just like if you don't take your medicine from a doctor, yeah, partly that's on you, but the doctor's got to find a way to help you see that that's important. Chowview, welcome back. Jim the Rat has told us he's real capable of finishing UCL thought. Yeah, I don't buy that at all. Big up, Chowview. Good to see you again. I Am Titanium's in the house. Big up, I Am Titanium. Like it. Tobias said fans aren't happy about losing. Fans are furious because they see no improvements. Yeah, I said to start the stream, I can stomach a loss. I just can't stomach a shit performance like that. I have no background for that. So I'm upset with the loss. I'm not going to like losing, but the manner in which we lose to me is going to be more for that. So Rob says Senesi been fantastic for Bournemouth. Yeah, I wanted Senesi when he was at Feyenoord. He's a very good defender. Gingerbish says Amorim persisting with Bruno on the pivot is sackable. Our greatest attacking creative threat, and you were asking him to play in the six. Not playing Lamens is sackable, in my opinion. Ineos spent a lot of money to get one of the best young goalkeepers in Europe in the top 5 leagues, and he's just chilling on the bench while a £3-4 million backup who had maybe 3 matches last season is starting and stinking up the joint, man. It's fucking embarrassing, dude. Ugh. Kurt is a fraud, says Maguire being the last man in an offside trap is a one-way ticket. It definitely is. It definitely is. I Am Titanium. That is why I no longer watch NFL. I used to watch a lot of NFL, and then as I watch more and more European football, I think the commercials, I can't do it. The NFL, I remember someone put out a statistic like a decade ago where if you add up all the total time in the NFL game that there's actual playing, like the ball is actually in play, it's like 3, 4, 5 minutes tops. Like it's literally a run for 5 seconds, first down, or like second down, and then it's commercial for 30 seconds. I can't do that. I cannot do that. It's so bad. Rob says Garrett did a job for England, 1-0. Yeah, that's Arteta level ambition at that point. Like, cool. You did the best you could with the England squad. Awesome, whatever. But you still didn't do anything. So Ginger says Amorim is probably showing these players how to press, but the players have zero mentality. Yeah, I believe part of it, again, some players don't have good footballing IQ. They just don't. And some of them just don't have the fight to do it. Rashford, I think, just lost the fight. Garnacho didn't want to play out of position anymore. It's just embarrassing. Let's see. You guys are chatting about the NFL. Trini says, to me, I want my striker taking pens. Let Shesko take pens. The more goals he scores, the more confident he will get. Yeah, I agree that the more goals he scores, the more confident he will be. Usually the penalty taker is just, the designated penalty taker. Now, if Bruno continues to stink up the joint. Again, I don't think Bruno's like, yeah, we're going to talk about Bruno. Again, he's the one who takes the pens. I think there's more to it than than just pens at the moment. But obviously you can see number 2 here is Bruno checked out. So while we're talking about Bruno, so I'm not going to blame Bruno for the result or bash him or even point out again that he missed another pen. He did it. It is what it is. It's going to happen now and then. Honestly, with his record with pens and one, eventually it was going to happen. It's not the first time he's missed a pen. It's not the first time he's missed a pen this season. It's not the first time he's missed a pen at United. It's going to happen now and then. Everybody misses a pen now and then. But again, he's missed twice this season from the spot, so it can't be ignored. But again, like I said, what's worrying about me is not that he missed it, but again, his body language, his facial expression, and his technique. Like I said earlier, why did he change his run up on that pen? That was mistake number 1. It just tells me he's either not focused or he's overthinking things. Neither is good, by the way. This is not the first time Bruno's not looked up for it this season either in a match. He's looking more and more like a guy who's just fed up with the situation, who's had to carry pretty much the entire weight of this club since he joined, and it's just starting to wear him down. Like, he's frustrated. He's literally the Harry Kane of Manchester United, arguably our best player, but just at a shit club that's just not going anywhere right now. But the mental switch that I've seen from Bruno this season is concerning to me, and it should be concerning to Amorim as well. Now, it's clear he's both not suited for the deeper role, and he doesn't want to play it. He doesn't look like he's enjoying his football, and you can see he's starting to lash out a little bit more and more. Now, everyone will say, well, he's always been like that. It looks different now. It looks like it's less about what his teammates are doing and more that he's carrying around this constant stress and frustration, and every little thing that sets him off, he's going to lash out. That's just what it looks like. And his only job right now, I mean, I get it. His only job is to basically get the ball and hoof it to the wide players. We saw earlier that graphic of we're just going down hard on the right-hand side. Is this really getting the best out of him? I mean, you convince him to stay only to basically relegate him to a deep role that he's going to look horrible in. Like, we know Bruno is not a bad player, but it's the way that Amorim is using him is killing his effectiveness and output by playing him in a deeper role, and that's on Amorim. I think Bruno's definitely gone this summer for sure, though. I think he's absolutely going for sure. We'll still get a lot of money for him. I don't know where he's going to go. I read something earlier about Al Nassr. I don't know if Al Hilal will come back. He's definitely gone. Like, for sure he's gone. But I don't know where he's going to go. To me, everyone is asking so much, like, would you take $100 million? And I've said, remember when we did that video a while back, it's not just about would you take $100 million? It's about do you trust the owners to spend that $100 million and reinvest it wisely? It's not just about the money. You have to spend it well. And that's something we haven't done since Ferguson left, is spend money wisely. It's about building, not buying. And we've done the latter far too long. And it's really annoying right now. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Danny says, Fabrizio just dropped a Southgate video. I don't even care about. When if it's not transfer season, I mean, what's Fabrizio really going to talk about personally? Kurt says, give De Ligt the armband. Yeah, De Ligt's definitely captain material. I think when Bruno leaves, I would definitely give that to De Ligt personally. We'll see who's in charge, though, and what that's going to look like. So, all right. Danny's talking about some Fabrizio Romano stuff. Let me see what we got here. Hold on. Let's see if there's any sort of breaking news. Danny, if I look this up and it's just a load of nonsense, I'm going to be upset with you. Let's see. I don't see anything from Fabrizio Romano, Danny. Let me know what he said about Gareth Southgate. But if he's just putting links in there from like Alex Crook or some nonsense that we saw on TalkSport earlier, I'm going to be upset with you. So Buck says De Ligt needs to focus on defending and getting proper studs. Spend half the time slipping. Yeah, him falling over was embarrassing. Malp says not selling Bruno, not buying midfielders, not getting experienced number one goalkeeper. The list goes on and on with this club. They don't know what they're doing. Well, we are building. And so I get that it's not going to happen in one summer. We're not going to go spend a lot on one player, even though it looks like we tried to in Baleba. I don't know what that was all about, but we are building. Now, Lamens is one of the best keepers in Europe, top 5 leagues last season. He's much better than Onana. He's much better than Bindier. It boggles my mind that he's not doing that, that he's not starting. Not getting a midfielder was a bit of a travesty. Bruno almost left. Casemiro will be going. Mainu still, in my opinion, too young to start week in, week out. And Ugarte is just not quite good enough. We definitely need 2 midfielders minimum. Now, for me, it would be Wharton and Anderson would be my 2. Bring them in. That's 100 mil. You're done. Get it done. But it's not up to me, unfortunately. Compose says, should we be depending on Bruno's pen against Brentford? Bruno has carried this team. He's allowed a season of inconsistency. Other teams have players that step up. Yeah, and we don't have players to do that. That's where it becomes, again, the mentality, the resilience, the leadership. You can be a leader without wearing the armband. Other players do need to step up. Bruno has carried this team, and I have said that many, many times. What's worrying to me is not necessarily the missed pen. It's just what I've seen from Bruno, even in the Arsenal game. He was our worst player against Arsenal, literally our worst player. And he compared to what he's capable of and what we've seen from him, it's nowhere near what we need from him right now. And unfortunately, yes, we do probably over-rely on him, but we have to, and he has to be able to step up to that. Let's see. Rob says Fabrizio just after clicks now the window is shut. Yeah, he's got to make that money somehow. We do not have any leaders, Box. We absolutely do not have leaders. We have some that they have leadership. They have like leader aspects. Like Maguire, I think has a leadership aspect. Bruno is a leader. He's not going to tick every box that people want. I do think De Ligt is a leader. I do think Mazraoui is a leader. I do think Casemiro is a leader. But again, Casemiro didn't play, and I can say that I think these guys are leaders, but again, we've also heavily criticized them for not showing us those qualities on the pitch. They kind of go missing in these moments. So again, are you really a leader if you're not showing it? Are you a talented player if you're not showing it, right? Kind of a thing. It's one of those like on his day. I hate that phrase, on his day, he's unbeatable. If you have to put that with a player, then they're not unbeatable. They're not world class. So I Am Titanium has been Ruben out since the Europa League final. Let's see. Let me get caught it on here. Kurt says, isn't Xavi available? Yeah, we were speaking about that a little bit earlier, that Xavi is still available. Plays a 4-3-3. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience and has openly said, like, next club he goes to, he wants to basically have, like, 4 years to build, basically. And so I don't know if you would get that at United. So Alfie says, Amorim sack in the morning. We'll see. We will see what happens. Jules, big up, Jules. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, man. We're just kind of going through my 3 thoughts, talking a little bit about Bruno here. Is he checked out? Is he burned out? Is he tired of playing a deeper role? Is his head turned? What is the issue with his dip in form this season? Box. I think part of it is the fans need to kind of like chill out a little bit sometimes, but I'm a fan too, and I'm getting really annoyed. So Mop says the Glazers have a bad reputation over there in the U.S., right? Not nearly as bad as the reputation they have in the U.K. personally. They just don't. So obviously they own the Buccaneers, and they do a lot for that. Like, this is why, like, when I think United was over here in the U.S., I think there was that story that we didn't go to the Buccaneers Stadium. I forget what it's called, because it's apparently a very nice stadium, and we didn't want the players to see how nice it was. But I'm not an NFL like avid watcher. I'm definitely not a Buccaneers fan, so I couldn't tell you what Buccaneers fans think. You can probably look that up. So I don't know, but I don't think anywhere nearly as much as they're hated in the UK. Mr. Labman, welcome. A lot of new faces. Big up. Says Ratcliffe gave Amorim 3 games, 1 to go. We'll see. We know a lot of people say, like, I think a lot of people just look at correlation between international breaks, and then the journalists just like to write that they've got 3 games and stuff. We see that every single year. Just like we see every single year we see an article from Simon Stone that, he's got the backing. Ratcliffe backs him. Ten Hag got the backing. Like, it happens every year. So let's see. Let me get caught up here. Mr. Labman says Ten Hag has been fired by Leverkusen. Yeah, Ten Hag, Jose, Oli, all of them are fired, man. Have Real sacked Alonso yet? I doubt they're going to sack Alonso. They did get mauled by Atletico. What are you guys saying in this chat? Let me go back to this poll real quick. So does Amorim see the other side of the international break? 44% of you say no, not a chance. 32% of you say only if we beat Sunderland does that buy him at least some time. And then 24% of you think, no, he's here for the long haul. He's Ineos's guy. Keep getting involved in that poll. interesting. It's pretty even, or not even, but it's pretty close. It's closer than I thought it was going to be. Um, let's see. Fraud is at least Liverpool and Chelsea lost. Yeah, I mean, we can say yeah, but I mean, I don't think anybody can banter right now. We can't banter anybody right now. um, let's see. Oh no, we got Rafa Benitez mentions in here. Yikes! Uh-oh. Not good. Oh boy. So you guys, let me know your final thoughts on Bruno. I do think that he just doesn't look like he's really quite feeling this role and this. I think and you can see the frustration is building. He's carrying that stress, that frustration, and when that happens, as a human being, it's like the more and more that builds, it's like carrying a bucket of water that you're filling to the rim, right? And when it gets that full, when that anxiety, that stress builds, it's like that bucket, and then it doesn't take much for that bucket to spill and all that stress and that frustration to come pouring out. Like just little things will set you off, and I see that from Bruno in these last couple matches. He was having a go at somebody yesterday, so he and Sesko made a run, and Bruno was kind of going off the right hand side, and the player picked out Bruno, and his bad touch like saw the ball go out for a corner, I believe. And then Bruno turned around and yelled and said, "You should have passed it to Sesko." Like, what does that have to do with your shit touch, bro? You were making the run. You were signaling for the ball. You made a shit touch. That's the kind of stuff that I'm like, I don't normally see that from Bruno. Like, we can see Bruno like get mad at his teammates, but that's to me is a different level in terms of just that kind of frustration. That's the kind of stuff that you see when people get frustrated. They just start getting mad and taking it out for absolutely nothing at all. And that to me is worrying. Maybe it's just the mental health professional in me that notices that kind of stuff. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, if Bruno's checked out or not. But let's see. I am Titanium does not think Ineos will sack him yet. It's going to be hard. Again, like I said, look, because we're getting to my third point now. Look up sunk cost fallacy when it comes to that, and think of that through the filter of Ineos and Amorim, and let me know what your thoughts are, because we're going to talk about that in a second. Jules says, go back to what Amorim said after Grimsby. These players have spoken. Yeah, a lot of them did kind of show him, but he still picks all the same ones. So I don't get that at all. I don't understand that. I don't see what the point of that is, to just keep picking them. If you're going to, that's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, these players have spoken, like, I can't trust them, and then turn around and keep playing them. It just shows me that you don't know what you're doing. Let's see. Kurt is a fraud, says Shesko scored at least. Yeah, that was like my only positive. Kurt, I said that earlier. Threw up that graphic of him scoring that goal. Like, that's my only positive from yesterday. Literally the only positive. So Box says, Sean, you need to pitch up at Carrington. I would love it, man. United, I send you my CV if you want. I'll literally, like, I won't go full Keno on this squad, but I'll definitely take each one aside, talk to them a little bit, and I'll at least start working on them on some freaking resilience, man. This is embarrassing. Let's move on to my number 3, you guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. Number 3, to me, in my opinion, writing's on the wall. Anyone change their mind about that Amorim replacement video yet? Remember, I put out a couple weeks ago. Is it time to start thinking about? I haven't prepped. I literally have the video. I put that poll out this morning. Do you guys want a long video where we go through all the options, or do you want each one broken down in an individual episode? You guys can let me know. But I've got like 7 or 8 managerial options, and then I did put that poll out. If you guys were looking at interims, who should it be? But has anyone changed their mind yet? Because this is getting embarrassing. 33 points from a possible 99 is getting harder and harder to defend. Literally a third of the points available to him he's gotten. At this point, I'm honestly past the point of defending Amorim and let you guys just have your opinion, which honestly, though, I feel like that's worse. Just that apathy from me it just feels like it's untenable. Like, I just feel like, what's the point? I said earlier, like, this club is just making me just not care right now. I literally just don't care. Put aside City, put aside Liverpool, put aside Arsenal. Like, yeah, it's cool to get to show up and perform or get results against these big sides. I said going into this, and I said it again yesterday, and I'll say it again now. If Amorim really wants to show that there's progress in getting to the next level and he deserves some sort of faith, he needs to start getting results against the Brentfords, the Brightons, the Bournemouths, the Fulhams, the Grimsbys. These are the matches, again, you need to, that's like, cool. It's great to want to beat City, and it's great to beat them last year. It's great. These are the teams you need to start beating, the teams that beat us yesterday and quite handedly destroyed us yesterday. It's not that simple. I mean, what else can a manager do to get his players to just give a shit? Just getting people to give a shit is really difficult as a leader. But again, like I said earlier, it feels like a chicken or the egg kind of a situation. Like, are the players' hearts not in it because things aren't turning around, or are things not turning around because the players aren't in it? Like, which one is happening first? Is it beyond Amorim? Is it some of the players are just fed up with what happened before he got here? It can't be just a simple matter of replacing manager. It can't be down to just simply getting better midfielders. I think that would help, but that's not the answer. And I don't think the answer is changing manager mid-season again. But I just don't see Amram turning this around. But he's got to find a way, or he's gonna get sacked. It's just going to happen. I fully know and admit, and I've said many times, rebuilds are hard. They take time, especially in the early stages. It does get rough in these early stages. It took Klopp how many years to do anything at Liverpool? Pep didn't do anything his first season at City. It takes time. But this is ugly. And with another international break in a week, and the season kind of approaching that sticker twist moment when it comes to there still being some time to salvage something, Amorim needs to show me, and he needs to show Ineos, and he needs to show the rest of the fans that he can learn from his mistakes, set his team up in the best way possible to get the most out of them, because he will get sacked. Who would get more from this squad, though, I wonder? Who's available in October, November? Who would be the interim? Like, I put that poll, so you guys can let me know what you think in that poll. I will say this, though, when it comes to interims, because, again, interims are not here for the long haul. An interim needs to know the club. The interim needs to not make a whole lot of wholesale changes, and they don't have any say in transfers. Those are the three things with interims, basically. So I put three options out there. I left that option for a fourth. If you guys had an extra option, let me know in the comments. You can go check that out as well. As far as like who would join mid-season for permanent appointments, who's going to leave a club to join us like Amorim did? We'd have to pay extra to do that. The only manager available right now is Xavi. We did speak to Xavi. He wants time, though. Will he get that at this club? I like what Xavi did with the youngsters at Barcelona, but again, he's not going to have the same caliber of players. I put Pedri above anybody we have in midfield, and he's not even got that here, so it's difficult. Who would join again without a preseason, without a transfer window? Would fans be patient enough to go through this process yet again? Like someone pointed out, we're just going to ask for Xavi to be gone in 3 months. And would that manager just be the next one in line to be doomed to failure? Do you agree with the Swedish Rumble? I saw Swedish Rumble put out a tweet yesterday that perhaps maybe Ineos overrated the players that we had in the squad when Amorim got here, and just think that we should be getting more out of them, when a lot of us know some of these players are just not good enough. Amorim has said, and even Jules said, like after the Grimsby, Amorim has said at times the players aren't doing what they've trained for. So why aren't there consequences for these players if they're not doing the job? If they're showing him how they feel, why aren't there consequences for these players? Why aren't players dropped if they're not doing what he said? Let me see what you guys are saying here. I'm gonna get caught up. I talked a lot there. Hold on. Let me get some water here. Let's see. Gingerbish says, I was annoyed. We scored. I had a bet on Brentford winning 3-0. Uh-oh. We're at that point where fans are mad when we score goals or win games because they want Amorim gone. Chavy says, how many managers have been sacked by these four players? Bruno, Shaw, Dallo. Dallo is shit. Maguire's not shit. He just can't play a high line. Shaw needs to go for sure. Bruno is a good player. He's just not. We can't build around Bruno because he's 30, 31, and he's not a deep midfielder. So, Tabasi says long video. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little longer today. But they're always good when they're long videos because that means we're having good discussions. So I don't mind it. Thank you guys for chilling and getting your thoughts in, though. But again, this is your guys' channel. I just throw out the thoughts and let you guys chat about them. So Tabasi thinks Amorim should resign. He's making his CV look bad. I mean, it's not getting any worse. Maybe it could. I don't know. Rob says, long video with all the options, also add in the channel. Oh, you mean, Debasi meant long video with the managers. That's how far behind I am in the chat. Rob says, long video with all the options, also add in the chances of him staying. Rob says, too expensive to sack until he's done. Yeah, and that's November. He'll get sacked in November. So, Kurt says, you actually named decent teams, bar from Grimsby. Yeah, I'm not saying the teams are bad, but these are the teams that to get to a next level, is, like to where we are, where we were when Amorim came in, and what we're like. These are the teams that he's got to start showing me he can go and beat. You just has to. We should get to a point. I'm not saying it has to be right this second, but Amorim's got to show me that he can show up against the teams. Like, we barely scraped by against Burnley, but so did Liverpool, so it is what it is. But this is what I mean. We have to be able to go to Sunderland, newly promoted team. We have to be able to go to Leeds, these teams, and get a result, because these are the teams that have been giving us problems, and these are teams we have to start beating, man. Um, let's see what we got here. I am James says writings on the wall from my cousin. He got arrested for graffitiing. Uh oh. Jewel says Emery is in a precious position. Yeah, Emery. Everybody goes back and forth on Emery. Now I feel for Emery the same way I feel for Iriola. He lost a lot of players. Villa's PSR situation has not helped, but again, Emery is just it's not looking good. I don't know if Emery would be my pick. Now he's got a glowing CV with all these Europa leagues and whatnot, but I just don't know if he'd still be my pick personally. Danny wants Iriola in the summer. So again, in the summer, what does that mean from between now and then? Because I think if Amorim stays, it could get worse, and we can't take that risk. We just can't anymore. I'm done. Like the title says, I'm done. I'm done. I am Titanium says I don't see the light. Man, this got dark real quick. Sorry, everyone. I'm a mental health professional. I'm supposed to be making people do better, and I'm here. I'm just making everybody worse. I'm gonna go burn some candles and put on some dashboard confessional while I'm at it. Let me whip out the black nail polish. Fuck, this got emo real quick. Sorry, everybody. Danny says he'd take Carrick over Giggs. Yeah, I would take Carrick as an interim. Now it's not my first choice, but between the choices that are really out there, I mean, they're far worse. He did a really good job with Middlesbrough until last year. So Ginger says a rebuild would have only worked if it was a full sale, not this half-ass sale. Open heart surgery was needed. Well, you still can't. Because of PSR, we still can't spend all that money. People think we could have just spent $1 billion in the summer. Like, we just can't. I don't think anyone was planning on Ineos opening up more credit and adding to the debt. That to me is not bode well. But again, because of that clause in the ownership when they took over, the Glazers are now allowed to listen to new offers, and Ineos have no right to do anything. Ineos would get their money back, but if they hadn't made a full purchase by this time, the Glazers can make a sale. So ownership book is not closed yet. Big up, Rich. Good to see you again. Jewel says, if Amorim believes Bruno can control the midfield, that's a sackable offense. Yeah. I think because he's good on the ball, and obviously he's got good vision, he could read the game. I think some people think it's not enough. If it's not his natural position, it's just not. People say, like, it's a 10, it's not that different. Bruno can play an 8 too. Even an 8 would be a better position. It's a 6. He can't. Not in this midfield. It's just not going to work. Mata, I'm not a big fan of Mata Trini personally. So Mr. Labman says Slot will be sacked soon. He lost yesterday, so let's go for him. Yeah. And it's funny, you won't see the media calling him a bully either. He basically threw Frimpong under the bus, but nobody will care about that. Like, literally, if it was United, Sky would be running that story for a week, and all throughout the international break. But no, they won't, because no one gives a shit about Liverpool. Ginger says, I don't want us to lose to get Amorim to get sacked. I need money. I'm saving for a mortgage. Well, I hope you're not relying on sports betting to pay for the mortgage, man. That's not a good place to be. But wish you luck in all your endeavors, my friend. I am dating one's Rude. Rude did not do well at Leicester, but then Leicester were also shit. So let's see. Rich says, same Ginger. I just don't see where the improvements come. Yeah, it's again. It gets to a point now where we're at a decent enough sample size, and we probably were there maybe even last spring. Who knows? But where is the evidence to show us that there's a reason to bleed? Now, we thought maybe a preseason. I thought a preseason will make a big difference. It is not, because it's not just about the tactics. It's about Amorim, his team selection, his substitutions, his refusal to learn from his mistakes. Like, what was that high line yesterday with the 3 slowest players? Literally, the only way it could have been worse if you'd put Casemiro in there too, and then you're like, yep, high line, let's do it. I am Titanium. I am Titanium has always got the dirty jokes, man. Rich says, apparently Sir Jim wants to give him a full year. Well, a full year would be November, right? And then we wouldn't have to pay that extra money if we sacked him. And so it's getting to that, like I said, that kind of delicate area of the season where, Amorim's really, there's still time to do something. I wonder, though, do we even have the players for any manager to do well? Like, are these players just not good enough? Like you guys have pointed out many times, a lot of these players have been here and seen many managers get sacked. How much of this is the players? I mean, let's compare our midfield to most Premier League clubs. On paper, you're like, oh, we've got better midfielders, but then you watch them play and you're like, oh shit, we're garbage. Other managers at lesser clubs are doing much better with their squads. I mean, look what Ariola's doing, look what Sunderland are doing, look what Forest did last year and whatnot. Glasner has beaten City. He's beaten Liverpool twice, for instance, as well. Like, how does that make that make sense? Like, it's not about formation there. It's just Glasner just plays a different system. He's getting the most out of his players, despite losing some of his better players as well. Should Ineos have targeted a manager who plays more like a system that suits the players that we've been used to? Again, I'm not blaming the system, mind you. I'm just saying, should Ineos have charged it? If it is a system thing, that's an Ineos, that's their fault. That's not Amorim's fault. They knew what they were getting. Here's my question to you guys, too. Let me know your thoughts. If Amorim wasn't an Ineos appointment, do you think he'd have been sacked by now? Do you think he would still be here? Again, is this that sunk cost fallacy that I brought up earlier, where basically what that means is you're reluctant to give up your course of action, your plan, because you've already invested heavily in it, when it's clear that abandoning that would be more beneficial? That's sunk cost fallacy. We've put too much into this, too much time, too much money, too much PR, whatever you want to call it. We can't give up now because we'll look worse, but it actually is probably better to give up. Like, is that an issue? Are they waiting until that fine, that extra penalty for sacking them too early? Are we waiting till that is no longer an option? Like, are we trying to avoid another embarrassing sacking decision after Ten Hag and Ashworth went tits up? Is that, like, all that could be part of this? Who knows? Let me get caught up. You guys let me know your thoughts. Let me get caught up. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. I love getting the conversation in here. And Chavvy says, no manager can save this team. We need to completely overhaul the squad. Again, we're right back to where we started then, because we've been trying to do that. This summer is a really good summer in terms of clearing things out, but it's not going to happen in one summer. It might not even happen in 2 or 3 summers. It will take time. But then it becomes about the manager, because, again, I don't think we're just buying for Amorim. I think we're buying for the way we want to play. But Amorim's got to do better. Devasi said things are not looking good. Bach says Darren Fletcher, there's a shout. He's doing well with the under-18s. I think they finally lost, though, after I think they were up like 2-0, and then they ended up losing, unfortunately. So Rich says, yeah, not looking good. Another year of this. Well, I don't know. Did he mean like a full season, or did he just mean a full year in charge? Because a full year in charge would be next month. So Jules said there's no moral high ground from giving Amorim a full season, so we end up in the championship. Oh, boy. There'll be a lot of Paramount Plus subscriptions if we get in the championship. But there'll also be a lot of new City fans if we go in the championship, unfortunately. Trinity says Areola. I'm almost leaning a little bit more towards Oliver Glasner these days, just because what he's done with the squad he's had, and the what he's done against big sides as well. He's won Europa League as well, Glasner, with Frankfurt. I know Dylan really likes him as well. So Debasa says Glasner will flop here unless he can convince Wharton to join United. Some of my picks for options when I do those videos, they might surprise you, because some of them are actually, like, more well-known, established managers as well that maybe people aren't thinking about. So Rich says, no, we need what we like. Danny says, we keep him beyond November, we will be in relegation battle. Not joking. Yeah. I mean, 2 days ago, we were 3 points off of top 4, and now we're down in 15th again. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? So Fox says, they're not good enough, in my opinion. Most are hype jobs, fans saying Mbumo for Ballon d'Or. I don't think anybody was saying Mbumo for Ballon d'Or. Rich says, no, a full year after that. Well, if they're waiting a full year till after they've signed players, like, it's one thing to be like, okay, we signed someone like Dorgu, or even he who shall not be named, I'll say with that, in the summer, who's not used to Premier League football or whatever, and then say, oh, we'll see how they do. Like, these are players that we've bought. Mbumo, Cunha are some of the best attackers in the Premier League last. There's no need for them to take a full year to get on board with this. Now, some of that's on them. I think Mbumo needs to do more than just win free kicks and penalties for us. Cunha needs to try a little harder than not try a little harder, if that makes sense. But there's no need for that. I just don't get it, man. Like, what would it take, man? Danny says he would have been gone after Spurs if we had proper owners. Yikes. Tabasi says, I can't wait for Baleba and Wharton together. You're talking like 250 million minimum for those two to combine. And I don't even know if Baleba's is worth 60, 70 million, let alone 115. I don't think he's worth it for us, man. Ginger says, oh, so if he would have been sacked if he wasn't, he 1,000% would have been sacked. The writing is on the wall. Well, it's almost like you can see my screen. Club will be back for sale next year. Trinity says we should have signed Sander Berge instead of Ugarte. Yeah, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people say, but I think Sander Berge just does what you need him to do. He keeps it simple. He knows his job. I don't have a problem with that. So Danny says, I really don't want to see a back five again. I don't think it's the formation because, again, you look at the way Glasner's playing, he's getting so much more out of these players. The problem is, again, if you stick with the back five, we still don't have proper wing backs is the problem. And so it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Let me see. Niche fan, welcome. I feel like you've been here before. He says he's gone in November. Trini says Glasser's known for playing a 4-2-3-1 as well. Yeah, and that's what I like. He adapts. He can change. He's flexible. He does. And I think at the end of the day, he gets the most out of his players. And that's literally like one of the most important things I would ask from a manager is, can you get the most out of your players? Now, for these Amorim replacement options, what I've also done is come up with a rating scale with 6 different metrics. And I rated each manager in those areas, things like tactics, CV, crisis management. What do you do with players when you sell too many or when you get too many injuries? Remember, we did that video last year, what makes a good football manager? And we went through some of those criteria. So I've rated a lot of these guys on that. I've given some negatives on these guys as well. We've got a breakdown of what they've won, their win percentage, all these guys. I've gone through all of that for you, so you don't have to. Niche fan says Seshko was a waste of money. I don't think he's a waste of money. I don't think he was worth as much as we paid personally. But Niche fan says we need to make Klopp. Oh God, it's funny. Like Klopp could be the best manager in the world, but because he managed Liverpool, I don't want him anywhere near United. Like it's just you have to keep the tribalism and the rivalry alive. Like it may seem petty, it may even be stupid to say stuff like that. I don't care. I don't want Liverpool players at this club. I don't want Liverpool manager at this club. I just don't. A Yank who doesn't like a burger. I don't understand. Oh, you making jokes again? Dabasi says all Cunha has done is shoot like Garnacho. I like Cunha. He is really capable of collecting that ball even from his own half and getting it up the pitch, which is what we need him to do personally. Against Arsenal, he was immense. I mean, he absolutely was at Ben White. He just back heel flicked and just left him in the dust and then just kept on running while he was trying to pull his shirt. Like Cunha gets it. I think he's just trying too hard right now. And this is the problem. Like Bach says, Cunha has gone 10 games without a goal and assist. This is that United effect that we've talked about. What is it about players and managers? They come to this club and it's just shit. Like they're just turned to shit, dude. You literally have to be world class already to maintain even a little bit of that level, like Bruno or like Ronaldo. Ronaldo was excellent for us that first season. Top scorer in the league, I think, the second half of that season. Hat trick against Spurs, brace on his debut. But you have to be world class to kind of beat the curse a little bit. But now even Bruno is succumbing to it. And Shesko scored. I don't think he's a waste. Trini says, you know what? I've changed my mind. Glasner, Iriola, Xavi. Nijvan says, don't care at this point. I want to win, and Klopp wins, and let's get him. Klopp. We don't have the players. If our players can't be bothered to bust a gut against Brentford, they're not going to be bothered to play heavy metal football. And I think Klopp is just done. Plus, he's out there doing credit card commercials and shit. So I'm good on that. I don't think he would ever join us either. So let me get this off the screen. I'm talking about my final thoughts here. So we're down to 14th, which feels about right for us these days, right? -4 GD right now, so awesome. Sunderland next, who sit, I think, in 3rd or 4th right now. So there's that, too. I don't really even think I'm 100% confident for Sunderland, honestly. And if he loses that, there's literally no excuse for Amorim to still be here. There's just not. It's untenable. I just don't see him doing it. If he was trying, if he was making changes and it was still not happening, it's one thing, but he's just not. And then at that point, it's just, you can't defend that anymore. I said to start the screen, it's just getting harder and harder to defend his decisions. It just is. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll be back later on this week to preview that one as well. The under-18s did lose the City like we spoke about, despite going up 2-0 at halftime. At least the under-21s held down the fort. They got a massive 4-1 win over Palace, so big up the under-21s. Devaney, Biancheri, and a brace from Shea Lacey. Biancheri's on 2 goals and an assist now in his last 2 matches. He's doing really, really well. The women's team also beat Liverpool 2-0 today as well, just before we went live. So big up everyone else for holding it down right now. What are you guys saying here? Box says Brendan Rodgers. Ugh, God no. God no. And it's so funny. You guys are going to laugh when I say this, but you guys know how I feel about it. Like, I haven't even started a career mode in FC 26 yet. Picked it up the other day. Didn't really play it all yesterday. I woke up this morning. I was like, maybe I'll start a career mode. Started, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this career mode. I literally don't, because I don't know who I would replace. Because I know when I started, I'm not going to use Amorim, but you guys know I'm so immersive that I need to figure it out what my manager situation is going to be for this career mode. Because the manager I choose for this dictates a lot. I'm not one of these guys who's I go no matter what team or what coach I choose in career mode. I just play the 4-2-3-1. Like if I pick like Simone Inzaghi, for instance, I'm going to play a 3-5-2. I'm going to sign players that Simone Inzaghi would probably sign. If I play a Nagelsmann, it's probably going to same thing. Like that's how crazy, stupid, detailed I get. Tactics, signings, whether or not they play youth, all that stuff. That's the manager I choose is going to dictate. But I don't know who I want to replace Amorim yet, and so I haven't even started yet, man. I've got like analysis paralysis on that stuff. I don't know if you guys play that or not, who you guys have chosen, but Trinity says yes. Hit that like button for me, guys. I really do appreciate that. Having a great discussion. Yes, it's a longer video today, but I'm absolutely having a ball. Foxes, I have no idea who should be our next manager. So skeptical. I've got if I chose, like if I did Xavi, I'd have to go create Xavi, and so that would take some time. And so it's just a matter of putting in the time. Also, yeah, I am that nerd who was like, ooh, could I just pretend that Oliver Glasner would join in September on these live star points? I don't know if that would be realistic. And so part of me always struggles with that kind of stuff. So we'll see what it is. But get involved in the poll. What are you guys doing in the live poll here right now? What's everybody saying here? So 41% of you say not a chance that Amorim will see the other side of the international break. 31% of you say only if we beat Sunderland will it buy him a little bit of time. 28% say, yeah, he'll be here for the long haul. He's Ineos's guy. So I hear all of it. I try to put in all the options I can. YouTube only lets you get 4, but I couldn't think of 4 for this one, so you get 3. Go let me know if for instance, interim manager was an option, like just someone for the end of the season till we were able to get someone on a permanent basis, if they're not available yet. Let me know who you would do. There's another poll for that as well. And then, yeah, get involved in the poll and the community tab on whether or not those Amorim replacement video, if you want that to be one long one or if you want that to be multiple broken up into individual episodes, because it will be long. And Dylan could join me. He could join me for part of it or all of it. So that's an option too. I know Dylan has thoughts on Oliver Glasner, for instance. So you guys let me know what you think could happen there. But obviously, we'll be keeping an eye out the situation throughout the week. You never know what could happen. But if he doesn't win the Sunderland game, I don't know how this continues. So thank you guys for joining me. Really good chat today. Really good seeing all new faces. And you guys make sure you're liking that video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Go check out the memberships as well to get more involved. We've got another scouting report special video coming out soon. Memberships do allow you to get involved in that. You can make suggestions for players. If I choose them, if I scout them, and we feature them on the channel, you get that shout out. You can also make suggestions for episodes of What If. Season 3 finale just aired a couple days ago, so go check that out as well. And then Legends members, you do get the option to join in virtually for the kickabout every week when Dylan shows up. So check those out. They're not just emojis and badges. I like to get you guys involved as much as I can, but you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you guys everyone for stopping by. I'm going to go probably watch this Newcastle match. It's Newcastle, right? Is it Newcastle Arsenal? Is that who's playing right now? I can't remember now off the top of my head. But enjoy the rest of your Sundays, you guys. Relax. Just try to put this out of your mind. And I will see you guys on the next one. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. Really good chat today, you guys. Take it easy. Bye.